Let me begin with a scene many of us know too well. You finally decided to clean the house. Then you clean the drawing room, the dining anyway, the floors shine, the kitchen sink is empty for a first time after many days. The cushions are aligned, tables are clean, and everything looks perfect. And then 5 minutes before the doorbell rings, you realize that the mess hasn't disappeared. It's just been pushed into one room, and the door is shut. The problem solved, or so we think. A friend once told me about finally completing his dream house. Years of saving, planning, arguing over tiles, changing the paint a couple of times, and living with dust everywhere. On the day the house was blessed, someone casually asked him, "So, are you finally settled?" And he laughed and said, "Well, the house is finished, but life isn't." And that simple line carries quite wisdom. Buildings can be completed, lives never are. That tension sits beneath today's first reading. Solomon stands before something magnificent, in front of the most expensive gold-plated cedar-scented building in human history, the first temple. And this was not just a construction project, it was meant to be the ultimate forever home for a God who until then had been perfectly content living in a tent. Stone, cedar, gold, symmetry, order. Everything looked finished, impressive, and worthy. And yet, at the very moment when most kings would congratulate themselves, Solomon says something startling. He says, God cannot be contained, not by walls, not by beauty, not even by something built for God. He prays with his hands lifted and palms open, not clenched. And open hands are the posture of someone who knows that he is not in charge. And Solomon says, even this is not enough. We love finishing things. We love closure. We even love neat spiritual checklists. Baptized? Check. Confirmed? Check. Prayer said? Check. Blessing done? Check. Church built? Check. But when we quietly assume that now God should stay where we place him, inside what we built, inside what we planned, inside what we control. And there's a beautiful story from the life of St. Augustine, and I'm sure you have heard it multiple times. Now, he was walking along the beach, struggling to understand the mystery of God, when he saw a child digging a hole in the sand and running back and forth to the ocean with a seashell and pouring water into it. Augustine asked, "What are you doing?" And the child replied, "I am emptying the whole ocean into this hole." Augustine laughed and said, "That's impossible." And the child looked up and said, "It is easier for me to empty the ocean into this hole than for you to fit God into your mind." Solomon's prayer is the Old Testament's version of that story, that seashell. And Solomon likewise realizes now that the temple he built is not a cage for God. It is a listening post for humanity. He asks God to hear from heaven to the pleas and supplications, acknowledging that while we are grounded in houses, routines, jobs, unsettled relationships, and unfinished lives, God is the vastness that surrounds it all. God does not want gold-plated perfection. He wants our honest presence. Whether you pray in a magnificent cathedral or over a lukewarm cup of coffee in a messy kitchen, the true temple appears at the moment you stop pretending you are in control. So let us stop, dear friends, trying to build a perfect container for the infinite. We are the seashell, and the ocean is already here around us. Let us stop worrying about whether our lives are grand enough for God and start marveling at the one who outgrows the heavens and listens to the whispers of a heart in a small room.